Bonjour, hello, alright, how we doing? Me here. Here we are again, happy as can be. All good fun and jolly good company. Hey, right. Can you guess what I've got here, folks? No, I'm not going to tell you. I will tell you, being as it's you. We've got an Ashes Ale. Woo! Nice beers on the Ashes Ale. I've had this already, and I've got to be honest with you. You know I'm not a massive ale fan, but there's something about making your own ale, isn't there? Oh, it smells really good. It's almost got like a kind of you know, sort of raisiny smell to it. But yeah, it's good, isn't it? Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Woo! Fizzies. Now, I suppose I ought to tell you what's gone into this. So I will in a minute, because I need to go and get a bit of paper. So watch this space, and by the magic of something, I'll be back. Oh bugger, nothing happened. I suppose I better press this button then. Hello, I'm back. I just spoke to myself for about 5 minutes there. I didn't realise I had it on standby. That's annoying when it happens, isn't it? Never mind. I'll tell you what, just to make myself feel better about it. This is nice and cold because it's been in the fridge. Oh. Now I know you're supposed to technically drink ale at room temperature, but I like it cold, and it's my beer, so I do what I want. It's good, that. Quite a good head on there, isn't there? Now I've got girly fingers, but there's about 2 fingers head on there, and I like it. It's nice. Yeah, the hops work quite well together, I think. So I'm going to tell you what's in it. Oh, you want me to tell you? Okay. What now? Oh, I was going to leave it till later. It's basically the Cooper's Australian Pale Ale kit with a kilo of light dry malt extract, 25 grams of East Kent Goldings hop pellets, 50 grams, I'm not doing that by the way, I'm just counting. Don't take it off. 50 grams of Bramlin Cross hops. Now, this is the first time I've used hoppage in any sort of grand scale really, and I can smell, you can really smell hops in this, but I can't, obviously I'm new to this game, you know, I'm a turbo cider person really, but I can't distinguish what smell goes with which hop. I know I could probably look it up, couldn't I, on the internet, but I don't care, it just tastes nice. That's the main thing, isn't it, really, as long as it tastes nice. So we've got, yeah, East Kent Goldings, 25 grams, 50 grams of Bramlin Cross, 200 grams of crystal malt grains. Now with the crystal malt grains, what you have to do with those, obviously they're cracked, and you get the home brew shop to do that, or you know, you just buy them cracked. You leave that in a pot of cold water, and you stick it in the fridge. I think that's what I did. Let me check my notes. Bum, 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 bum. In the meanwhile, here was some music. Bum, 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 bum. Up and away in my beautiful balloon. Yeah, you line a pot with muslin bag, and you add your grains and you 2 litres of cold water, and you stick it in the fridge for 24 hours, and then you come back after 24 hours. Obviously you drain out that muslin bag into the pot, you use that pot to put all the rest of your ingredients in, and I'll stick the recipe under here. I'll put a link in, because it's not my recipe, it's Cooper's, remember. The only thing extra I put in is the malted dextrin. I don't think I needed to do that, to be honest, because look at the head on that, it is mental, isn't it? It's quite good though, I quite like it. So that's what's got into it, folks. Yeah, it's I've not had the Australian Pale Ale kit on its own, so I can't really compare it, but I suspect there is a massive difference between what I've got here and what's in the Australian Pale Ale kit, because the hops really smack you in the face as you... Oh yeah, it smells quite nice. I'm quite surprised. Give it a go, blokes. Check the recipe out. You guys are probably renowned brewers and you can do it with all grain and things, but I am still at that stage where, well, first of all, I can't afford to buy any expensive things like mash tuns and stuff like that because I'm unemployed, right? So there is that. And second of all, I'm not entirely sure I have the patience to do that. This to me was actually quite simple, and it wasn't really that technical at all. You just put your stuff in the fridge, leave it for a day, come back, chuck it on the stove and it's done. So yeah, I can honestly say I can't see myself in any time in the near future going to all grain, because as long as you can get, I think, as long as you can get good results from a kit, then why not carry on doing that? Plus, you know, I ain't got the money to keep buying grains all the time. I can buy small amounts, you know, 100 grams and stuff, and get away with that, but not all the time. I can't afford to do it all the time, so I have to go with what I've got, chaps. And I've got some kits and malt, liquid malt extract cans in my Conservatory of Doom that I bought towards the end of last year, and in the sales, you know, from Wilco's recently, £7.50, something like that for a kit. So you've got to go with what you've got, haven't you, and what you can afford and what's right for you. And yeah, I can definitely smell a sort of raisiny type thing. Now maybe you can tell me which hop. I suppose I've got some left. I think I could just go to the packet and find out. Yeah, sort of a raisiny type smell, which isn't unpleasant. It's quite sort of sweet. It's not bad, you know. Not bad for a Lakey bloke. The boy's done well, I think, to make this. It's not off. It's perfect. It's a really nice drink. So I would say that though, wouldn't I? No, I wouldn't. I'd be honest with you, blokes, wouldn't I? If I thought it was horrible, I'd tell you. And I don't think it's horrible. Plus, the good thing about it is, if I pop to the fridge now, I've got another bottle in there, 750 millilitres. I'm going out. I'm recording this towards the end of last week, folks, in all honesty. And the reason I'm doing that is because I fancied a beer. I'm going to meet a friend Friday evening tonight, while you're watching this, while I've recorded this. And I wanted to have a couple of beers before I met him, get in the mood. And I thought, well, if I do that, then I might as well record it. And I thought, well, I've got some Ashes Ale in the fridge. And I know you're not supposed to drink it cold, but I like it cold. It's good. Perhaps a little bit too carbonated, maybe, for an ale. You know, you're supposed to sort of rein it in a little bit on the carbonation with an ale, aren't you? But it's alright, I don't care. Don't care. It tastes good, that's the main thing. Bollocks. So I'm well happy, folks. This is me being well happy. Good, isn't it? What else was I going to tell you? Oh yeah, I was going to show you around the brews, wasn't I? That I've got on the go at the moment. The other bits and bobs that are around the kitchen and the Conservatory of Doom. Just show you what's going on there. I've got a cider on the side. I've got a Mexican cerveza in the Lakey Bloke fridge, and on the side in the conservatory I've got a Tom Caxton lager, which I'll tell you about while I'm showing you it, and another batch of cider. The cider in the conservatory has got cider yeast in it, 775, and the cider, the small demijohn, I'll show you in a second, has got Wilco's Jervin owl yeast in it, which I think is a strain of Nottingham owl yeast. I'm using that because I want it slightly sweeter, and also I put some Splendor in there just to back sweeten it. So we'll see how that comes out. I'm not too fussed about that one because it's only a small batch, and if it doesn't come out like I want it to come out, then no big deal. It's only a few bottles. You get probably 8 bottles out of that. The 9th one will have all the crud in, and you know, generally I chuck that one. But yeah, it's bubbling away like a good, and then you'll see that in a second. And we'll come back and we'll have a little chat about what we've seen. All right. So I shall be here when you get back, folks. I'm not going anywhere. I might go somewhere. I might go over here, or I might go over there. I've not decided yet. So I'll see you in a minute, yeah? Enjoy your little tour and come back. Right, so first thing then, here we've got a turbo cider, folks. Woohoo! Ain't done one of these for a while, have I? As you can see, it's foaming up like a lovely, nice turbo cider should. And we've got activity in the airlock, which means everything is absolutely tickety-boo. So what's gone in here then? Well, we've got a cup of sugar. We've got 3 litres at the moment of apple juice. Obviously, once the Krausen has gone down a little bit, after about 3 days, something like that, we'll top it up with some additional juice. We've also used a Wilco's yeast in this instance, which I believe is a strain of Nottingham owl yeast, so hopefully that'll be good. Also, I've put some Splendor in there just to give it some sort of sweetness once it's bottled. There, it's all good, isn't it? Look at that. Hey, let's have some bubbles. Hey, there you go. Well, what we got in the beer fridge then, Roy? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. Right, blowout tube. You know I likes the blowout tubes. This is a new fermenting bucket. It's I think it's a 33 litre fermenting bucket. It's pretty good because if you get a lot of Krausen at the top there, which you can do with some owl yeasts, it caters for that, and you know, it doesn't go absolutely mental and sit on your lid and infect your brew or anything like that. Let's just shut that then. What's in there, Roy? Well, I'm glad you asked again. It's a Mexican Cerveza, Wilco's Mexican Cerveza, with White Labs Mexican yeast. Is it 945, WLP 945, something like that? That's sitting in there at 11 degrees. It's been in there for about a week now, probably needs 2 weeks, something like that. So we're going to let that go. And over here, woohoo! On the other side of the Conservatory of Doom, we've got another turbo cider here, 15 litres. Nothing special about that. WLP 775 yeast, the liquid yeast you know I love. In here we've got Tom Caxton's lager. I was telling you about this one in the little video I did last week. There's quite a lot of malt in there, and it dropped out at about 1.020. So what I've done is I've aerated it a little bit, and I've put some more yeast in just to see if it takes it down any further. The chances are it won't, but you never know till you try. And also in there I've got 25 grams of Cascade, so I'm going to leave that for a week, and then I'll put it into a secondary probably for another week. Yeah, hopefully it will turn out nice. Hello, thanks for coming back. Hopefully you found that interesting. Now One thing I wanted to talk about briefly was the beer fridge. Now, you know, I've got a temperature controller on that. I can't even say it. I've got a temperature controller on that beer fridge, and it's at 11 degrees at the moment. Now, I started off initially with the yeast at 24 degrees, something like that, and then I brought it down in increments over the course of the day down to 11 degrees, and it's been sitting there for 7 days. After 7 days, I took a measurement this morning, and it's 1.027. So I'm not entirely convinced it's gone as far as it should by now, and that was another concern for me with my Tom Caxton lager. For whatever reason, that's dropped out at 1.020. That's not in the beer fridge though, that's just at room temperature. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. For the Tom Caxton one, I've rehydrated some more yeast, given you know, aerated the lager a little bit, chucked the yeast in there, gave it another little quick shum around. See how it goes. I mean, if it doesn't go down any further, then I'm just going to bottle it. It will be a really weak lager, but it's all right. Don't have to get pissed, do we? That's fine. And yeah, the Mexican Cerveza, the Wilco's Mexican Cerveza, that one again is only at 1.027. I don't know whether that should have gone down a bit further. I put some White Labs yeast in there. It's a Mexican yeast, and I grew it up on the stir plate, and it may well be that perhaps I didn't put enough yeast in there, but you know, I'm pretty good with that usually. You know, I likes to grow my yeast up, and usually I get it right, and it's unlike me to not put enough yeast in. And usually, you know, you can tell when you do your 1.5 litre starters, you with the White Labs yeast, certainly you can tell, because the yeast is really fluffy. And you can tell usually just by looking at it whether you've got enough yeast in there. So we'll see what happens over the course of... Oh, I can smell it on my hand as well. Quite a strong smell, that. We'll see what happens over the course of the next week or so. And I'll come back next week and I'll let you know. What I plan to do, hopefully, if it goes down to where it should be. And I think the Mexican yeast apparently gets down to around 1.012, 1.010, which most yeasts tend to do. Specifically the English ale yeasts tend to go down to about 1.010. So I'm expecting it to go down there, but obviously because it's at a lower temperature, it might need a bit more time to do that. So I'm going to give it another week before I take another measurement, see how it's getting on. And if it hasn't moved, I might have to chuck a little bit more yeast in there. Don't know. So if you guys have got any suggestions as to what to do when, you know, you get a seemingly stuck fermentation, you know, especially with around 1.020, and don't expect that, you know, it's not happened to me before. Usually it gets down to where it's supposed to get down to. What we can do to resolve those things. Obviously I've done my reading, I've not gone into it blind, and I've been reading the people suggesting to give it a little bit of a shake around to wake the yeast up and raise the temperature a little bit, which is why I've moved the lager into the conservatory, because it's a little bit warmer out there. You know, pitching yeast, have I done everything I can to get the best out of that yeast? Is it just that, you know, it's one of those things and it's just dropped out at 1.020 because the fermentables in there are all fermented out and it's just one of those things? I don't know. Any suggestions will be greatly received. So yeah, leave a little message below for me if you could. Give me some of your ideas as to how to stop that from happening, or how to resolve it. I mean, you know, if it happens, it doesn't matter as long as you know how to resolve it. So that would be good. But as I say, I've not really done anything different to what I've done before. I do, as we all do, you know, sometimes things just don't work, do they? We're all seasoned homebrewers by now. You know, we do these lagers a lot. I do lots of lagers and lots of ciders, and I very rarely get any problems. It's just this time around the temperature controlled Mexican cerveza seems to be taking a little bit longer than I would like to get down to decent temperature, and definitely the lager is just a little bit weird. It's dropped out at 1.020. So yeah, give me some of your ideas, folks, and that's all from me for this week. It's good to be back. I will be here for a while. I'm not going anywhere this time. I'm going to stay. Even if I just talk rubbish to you, it's all right, isn't it? You don't mind, do you? Nah, you don't care. So I'll leave you with this thought. There you go. Did you enjoy that? And I'll see you next week. Ta-ra, folks.